Hello, I'm Dr. Sarah McCumber, and I'd like to thank you for joining me for tips for aging successfully in these uncertain times. So a little bit about me. I'm a doctorally prepared nurse practitioner who appreciates partnering with patients. My clinical practice is focused on adults and older adults with chronic health issues. I'm an adult, geriatric, and a family nurse practitioner. And I love working with older adults and their families to help them craft successful aging journeys. So let's start our conversation about how to age successfully. Also, as a disclaimer, this is general health information and may not apply to your particular health or personal conditions. Please consult with your own individual healthcare provider prior to making any changes in your health behaviors or medications. So 2020 has really been a time of uncertainty and also great opportunity. And for those of us who are aging into our 60s, 70s, and 80s, it's created some unique challenges. And we'll talk about that a little bit now. So I was looking at my son's high school graduation announcement, and they had this quote: "We cannot direct the wind, but we can adjust the sails." And I think this is a great quote for as we age. We often cannot direct where we're going, but we can adapt or adjust how our sails or our attitude is. So we know that our life expectancy over the years has dramatically increased. And just in the last 70 years, the life expectancy has risen almost 9 years. So that gives us many things to plan for as we age. So a recent author talks about the third stage of life after age 65. And many of us will have differences as we age. I love the lady on the left. I use her picture quite often. I like to think of myself as this way, the one that's lifting weights. She looks like she's doing well. But the lady on the right is also doing well as she's able to be mobile and she appears to be adapting to the changes that have come with her aging. So really, what is successful aging? So back in 1997, Rowe and Kahn stated that successful aging involves three main factors: being free of disability or disease, having high cognitive and physical abilities, and interacting with others in meaningful ways. I'm not really sure that all of these still are the best ways to define aging successfully now in 2020. Some other definitions for successful aging might include involving focusing on what is important to you and being able to do what you want to do in older age. We have all come to our aging journey with different backgrounds, experiences, capacities, and coping strategies. And likely successful aging is a combination of refocusing, making meaning of where you are, and if possible, implementing some healthy lifestyle choices. So our latest research and brain health. So one of the things that we think about as we age is what's going to be helpful for our brain and our heart. And I love this picture because it shows the multitude of blood vessels that are into the brain. And the brain is much like our heart. It has many blood vessels. And so those of us who work with the brain and who are working with older adults know that what's good for the heart is good for the brain because of the circulation, dramatic increase in circulation there. So a recent article by Don et al. Noted that several factors can contribute to lessening the development of dementia as we age. Number one is not smoking. Also engaging in greater than 150 minutes per week of physical exercise of moderate to vigorous intensity. Light to moderate alcohol consumption. Consuming a high quality Mediterranean DASH diet for neurodegenerative delayed diet, and engaging in later life cognitive activities such as reading books, computer use, crafts, social activities, and playing games. So I think these are all things that you can think about to help you age successfully. So sometimes I get asked the question, what's the difference between normal aging, memory changes, and dementia? So this is a great graph that really illustrates very nicely the differences. So in normal aging, it's very common to not be able to remember details of a conversation or event that took place a year ago. But with dementia, you're not able to recall details of recent events or conversations. Another example is with normal aging, we forget things and events occasionally, whereas with dementia, we forget things or events more frequently. And as we age, we occasionally have difficulty finding words, but with dementia, there's also frequent pauses and substitutions when finding words. And with normal aging, you're not worried about your memory, but you are worried about your memory, but your relatives are not. Whereas with dementia, your relatives may be worried, but you're not aware of the problems. So I think that's important to keep in mind. So when to worry about memory changes? Recognize that advancing age is the highest risk factor for dementia. The dementia risk, it changes as you get older. So if you're over 65, 1 out of 6 folks have dementia, but at age 85, it drops to 1 out of 3. So you need to worry about the memory changes when they interfere with your ability to independently care for yourself, your household, or others. So if you can no longer pay your bills or balance your checkbook, or you're no longer taking your medications as directed, or you're unable to maintain proper nutrition or your house in a safe manner. And if your family expresses concerns, try to listen to them. Your family is just concerned and supportive of you. So one of the most important things that I like to talk with older adults and people who care for older adults is the importance of exercise. I like to say every little bit of movement helps. So I'm not asking you to run a marathon, but everyone can increase their physical activity. It's very important as we age that we implement resistance exercises and muscle strengthening, because we lose our muscle strength as we age. It's also important to first get clearance from your medical provider before you start an exercise program. So simply reduce the amount of time sitting. Focus on what you can do instead of what you can't. At the TV commercials, get up and walk around the kitchen island, or make a plan that you'll get up and walk around the house for 10 minutes every hour using your timer on your watch or your Fitbit. And consider a physical therapy referral or hire a personal trainer to develop a plan that you can do at home. Also, schedule or routinize your exercise every day. Make it a priority. Consider tracking your exercise. Get an exercise buddy or someone to make you accountable. So even during these COVID times, you can have an exercise buddy virtually, somebody that you talk to on the phone, somebody you interact with over FaceTime. I know that when I exercise, I do much better when I have an exercise buddy that I'm accountable to. Let's talk a little bit about Mediterranean diet. This is a diet that's been studied and found to be very helpful and useful for us, and it helps brain and heart health, with a focus on vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, legumes, whole grains, eating in moderation, poultry, eggs, cheese, and yogurt, rarely eating red meat, and staying away from sugar-sweetened beverages, added sugars, and processed meat. So social connections are vital as we age also. Human beings are social creatures, and regular social interactions are essential. Think of social networks that you could develop: church, common interests, and cultivate time with others. The time does not always need to be face-to-face, but it can be done through technology or other ways to fill a connection to others, and aim for 2 to 4 times per week. During COVID and other times, it can be hard to get those social connections. Just because you're isolated as you're living doesn't mean that you're in isolation. So we all know people who are very connected and very socially connected who may not be able to get out of the home or have limited ability to be mobile, but they can do that through different ways, through the phone, through technology. So I encourage you to think creatively. So medications and aging. We know that 1 in 6 adults age 65 or older will have 1 or more harmful reactions to a medication or medications. As we age, we often have more health problems and thus take more medications which can interact. The American Geriatric Society has identified 10 medications that older adults should avoid. My 2 favorites that I constantly review with my older adults are avoiding diphenhydramine or Benadryl. Often it's found in Tylenol PM, which is not good for older adults. It can cause confusion. And also regular use of NSAIDs such as ibuprofen or Aleve is not good for your stomach, and it's also not good for your kidney. Occasional use is okay. So it's important to also think about making a plan for the 3rd stage of life. You need to focus on what is important to you. What legacy do you want to leave for others? It's important to perhaps develop a bucket list. What do you want to accomplish yet? What are your goals? And then it's also important to think about, so what if your plan does not go as you want? What is your plan B, plan C? And what supports do you need to age successfully, especially as your health changes? Who do you want on your third stage team? The third stage of life plan, and what's an unacceptable experience or place for you to be? It's very important to complete a healthcare directive and review with your healthcare agent your goals of care and specific expectations. That healthcare directive does no good if it sits in the safety deposit box without being discussed with those who care about you. Also, complete a power of attorney for finance and consider if you need a will. Consider improving or adopting some improvements in health habits. Especially get moving and staying connected to people. Find a purpose. That's one of the reasons that pets are so important for older adults, because they give them a purpose. They also give them a connection. And I also recommend periodic family meetings to discuss plans, especially if you encounter challenges or bumps in the road. And develop a driving retirement plan with your family. How are you going to get around? What's your transportation plan going to look like if you're no longer able to drive? And as you are aging and encountering bumps in the road, you will be able to stay home longer if you utilize supports and help early on. Sending some money to pay for in-home assistance can delay the need for a higher level of care. Yes, it is normal to want to remain independent, but it is even more important to acknowledge when you need some help. So let's talk a little bit about some resources for aging successfully. Your local area agency on aging is very important. And here in Minnesota, we have area agencies on aging. In Wisconsin, we have the Aging and Disability Resource Center at the county level. These are great resources to get connected with even before you need them, and they help with Medicare and often insurance coverage. In Minnesota, there's a senior linkage line. That's a great resource. And in Minnesota, we have the Juniper evidence-based health promotion programs. So if you just Google these terms, you'll find them. Other health resources, the National Institute on Aging has excellent resources. They have a Go for Life exercise videos. You can access some online videos that are very good about doing some in-home exercises. Health and Aging is another great website. It's sponsored by the American Geriatric Society and has good vetted information from geriatric professionals. AARP has excellent information, especially for caregivers. The Alzheimer's Association is an excellent resource, and the Family Caregiver Alliance is also an excellent resource. So these are some of my references. I want to thank you for joining me, and I want to encourage you to have a successful aging journey.